Okay, so I'm going to open an Excel window and I'm going to start a blank workbook. And what we're going to do this time is link two workbooks together. So I'm going to start by opening one workbook and zoom in just a little bit so that what I'm doing is a little bit easier to see on this video. I'll zoom to 200%. And let's say I had, this is book one, so book one in Excel, and I just have data in this thing. So wherever you've got data, you put in some things you're working with, and you add a function that sums this data maybe. And you have a cell here that you want to use, a total, a number that you want to use in a second workbook. So we talked about using data from sheet to sheet. We just started a formula with equals, pointed to the sheet with the data we wanted, and that brought it back to the sheet we were working on. Well, we can do the same thing with workbooks. So I'm in book one. I'm going to go to File and start another workbook. So I basically now have opened two workbooks. I'm going to zoom in on this one as well. And I'm building a spreadsheet. So in one cell here, I'm going to say total from book one data. So here in cell E4, I actually want to bring in that total, the actual total from the other workbook, from book one. I'm in book two. Well, let's get both of these workbooks up on the screen so that we see what we're doing. I'm going to go to View on the menu bar, and then I'm going to go to Arrange. I've actually got two workbooks open, book one and book two. So I'm going to go to View on the menu bar, and then in the ribbon, click on Arrange All. How do I want them arranged? Well, I could pick any of these, but for this example, I'm going to use vertical. And let's say OK. So now I've got two workbooks on the screen. The first one is the one where I have all this data and the total that I want to use back over in workbook two. How do I make that happen? So here in workbook 2 in cell E4, I start a formula with equals. And all I've got to do is go over here with my mouse over to the first workbook, cell C7, and click there. And sure enough, back in workbook 2, the formula has now included a reference to book one, sheet one, cell C7. So if I hit enter, I'm now linked to book one, this total in C7, and have brought it back for use in book two, cell E4. And that's how you can link workbooks together in formulas. Just have both workbooks open, and whenever you're creating a formula that requires data from the other workbook, go over to the other workbook, click on the cell that has the data you need, bam, the reference is put into the formula where you're working in the second workbook. So that's how you link workbooks together. Give it a shot. Have some fun.